today's video on the GTI, we install a Unitronic intercooler as well as their charge pipe upgrade kit. It's really straightforward with this. We're eliminating restriction with our upgraded charge pipes and keeping charged air intake temperatures down with our intercooler. When you have a turbocharger, when the air becomes pressurized and boost is created and it's being sent to your intake, that air gets real hot in your turbocharger. And the more it spools up, the hotter it gets, and your intercooler, that's usually in front of the radiator, is in charge of cooling down that air before it goes back to your intake, because hot air in a motor is not good for timing, anything else to make more power. Heat is pretty much the death of your engine. So the lower you can keep the intake temperatures, the more timing, the more boost pressure, the more horsepower we can make. So that's the goal, keep the temperatures down, and the intercooler is a huge part of that. These are what I would call supporting mods, keeps your engine running healthy, and honestly takes a lot of strain off of your engine. There's a video on the Alford 2 channel if you are not comfortable with putting this car on jack stands. I'll show you how. It's really simple. Pop the hood, take the air duct off. This is going to be a mix of T20, T25, T27, and T30. Some 10mm, 16mm. We're going to need some tools. There's a list in the description on Amazon if you want to pull this car apart. And you don't have any tools, you can go grab some tools there. Removing support braces above the headlights with the 10mm. Take off the washer fluid. There's a little tab, you can pry it out. We're going to remove our cable for our hood latch with some needle nose pliers. We're going to get the support brace off on the other side, start getting this air duct out of here. To get the air duct, we've got the 4 Allen head, size 4. You need a kit of Allen head sockets, life changer, that's also in the description in the Amazon list. To get the front grill off, you just got to pull up on it, pull in an upward motion. It will snap out of place. It feels like you're going to break it. It's always the worst feeling, but don't sweat. It'll come off, no problem. From here, you're going to need a magnetic bowl. You're going to put all your bolts in there. This is a pretty in-depth install. If you're tackling this, I know you can do it without exact instruction, and it almost adds a little bit of confusion if I go step by step, because there are so many bolts that come out, and it's really not that intimidating at all once you get after it. The under tray is attached by a bunch of Torx bolts. Fender clips, same thing. Pull the under tray off, pull the bolts that hold the side of the front bumper on, and then gently pull out. And then we're going to disconnect our fog lights. From here, we're going to have to disconnect our horns. Then there's some air ducts that you're going to remove. You're going to use a flathead screwdriver to get those out. Be patient. Ambient air temperature sensor, disconnect that because that's connected to the front crash bar. We went ahead and pulled the bracket off for the hood latch. On the side of the crash bar, those are T27. We're going to remove those on both sides. The crash bar is held in by 16mm bolts. If you're enjoying this video and you want to support the team here to make these videos happen, check out karmaspeed.com. Shop anything on there. That goes straight to keeping the builds going, helping us level up everything that we're doing here between filming and working on cars. And you guys get some awesome clothing, high quality apparel, and such like that. Let's get back in the episode. These can be tough on the top part underneath the headlight. It's hard to fit the extension and socket in there, but it can be done. The headlight will flex. Just be careful and you'll get it out with some patience. From here, look around for all the bolts that are holding the intercooler and radiator assembly. Then you can see those yellow pieces. Those tabs are going to push in together and get them out. Those were a pain. We used 2 flathead screwdrivers, and then we could separate the housing from the intercooler. Pay attention to how this AC condenser comes out of the housing and how it fits back in there. When you reassemble it, that was a huge pain. That took a lot of patience. We put the crash bar underneath to add some support, or if you have like a brick or something laying around, you can put it on. Then we were able to slide off the stock intercooler. We've got the whole front end apart. Let's take out the intake. We're gonna go ahead and get to the area to get our charge pipes out, the stock ones. The whole mindset behind this procedure is just following the mounting places for the Torx bits, where all the bolts are. We're gonna pry out the wiring harnesses from their mounting locations on the stock charge pipes. We're gonna follow all the hoses, hose clamps. We're gonna use our little picks that we have that we talk about a lot that are on the Amazon list. Get all those hose clamps off, slide everything off with ease. Get those stock charge pipes out. Unitronic charge pipes are a nice looking lightweight aluminum tubing, smooth airflow transitioned. They have the factory wiring harness points. The stock piping actually has baffling in it, so the airflow is limited, while this upgrade has zero airflow restriction. Reassembly is pretty straightforward. If you can get it apart, I know you can put it back in. All the mounting points are the same. This is basically an OEM fitment type of product, so there's zero confusion. You guys can get it done with ease. Don't let Randall's snap-on tools intimidate you. You can use a regular ratchet and get in there and impact anything you want. Those electric ratcheting wrenches are rad though. I'm gonna be buying my own here soon. Probably Milwaukee, not Snap-on. The zip ties holding the wires right here were a little bit brittle, so they did break, so we're putting new zip ties on to hold everything together. You always want to have zip ties laying around in your garage, shop, wherever you're at. Making our way to the front of the engine here shortly with our charge pipe situation. We're going to be very careful, disconnect our MAF sensor wire. From there we can take out the Torx bolts, get this piece out of here so we can put the new one in. Take out our MAF sensor from our stock charge pipe. We're going to put it into our aftermarket one. Take out our rubber grommets, put those in so everything seals up, mounts flush. Using the Unitronic supplied hardware, we're going to put the MAF sensor in. If you're just getting into cars, get used to that term. It gets mentioned a lot. Tighten these up by hand. Never use power tools. This is the stock charge pipe. You see that baffling inside? That's restriction. We're getting rid of that with these new aftermarket charge pipes. Huge airflow upgrade. This part that Randall's wiggling on right there at the top that goes in the intake manifold, that's the only stock part that stays on with this whole process. We're going to go ahead and mount our aftermarket charge pipe up, put our MAF sensor back on, clip our wiring harness into it, reassemble everything, put it back how we found it. We're going to line up our new intercooler into place. This is kind of a pain. It's heavy. Use your crash bar for support. Get a friend to help you. Kind of put everything best the back you can. This was honestly the hardest part of the whole entire process, was getting all that whole condenser, radiator, intercooler together in one piece. It's not fun. So I know you guys can do it. If we can do it, just took some patience. And other than that, hasn't been too bad at all. Sprayable silicone, you'll see me use all the time in that white and green bottle, is your best friend. Lubes things up, makes things slide into place easier, like all the hoses on the bottom of the intercooler. This is a great modification to have your GTI run as healthy as possible. Run it in hotter weather like here in Arizona. You're just going to notice your car breathes a little better, and it's going to be a little more responsive. Front mount intercoolers are a little bit slept on as far as how much you can feel while driving. Have fun with this one. If you're working on your GTI and you want to check out this product, I have a link in the description as well as an Amazon tool list. Don't forget about that. Karma Speed Podcast is also a thing. If you go to my channel, click on my name, scroll down, you'll see featured channels. Karma Speed Podcast is on there. Karma Speed Podcast clips. Cameron Alford 2 for a little bit more things like how to get this car up on a jack stand. Thank you so much for stopping by. Don't forget karmaspeed.com if you guys want to support the channel, get some high quality apparel and whatnot. I appreciate you guys so much and have a good day.